Good day and welcome back to my channel. And here is an update on the Battlestar Galactica Raptor build. I'm getting near the end of the build part and getting about into the time where I start doing all the shading and weathering and all that other fun stuff. So what we've done is, again, I'm trying to, as I've said before, I'm working on doing static model with it and sort of minimizing the extras, so pretty much just doing what I can with what I have and going from there. So I've done here the paper seatbelt concept that I've used before. I could get PE. You could go out and get PE seatbelts from any other kit and drop those in there, but I was kind of trying to just do this with what I have. Other options are like painter tape, masking tape, anything that's got a texture for it, those kinds of fun things. I did do a video on how I do these, so I will put the link below. Are they great? No, but they will do, especially once we drop in the canopy. You can see them. And a lot of the negative pieces, or the negative parts, negative whatever, of them will fade away. So so that's it with the canopy clicked in. So no matter what your angle is that you look at it, they're there enough to show you what we're after, which is what I was, kind of the point. I've detailed up the interior probably as much as I'm going to. I may put a little more shading on the seat cover because I'm going to, you pretty much have that angle. That's the angle you're going to get. I will have the door open, and with the door open, that's about what you have. Now, building this kit, I recommend that you go ahead and assemble the kit. Do as much of the internal shading as you can, or internal shading, let me rephrase, the internal painting as you can prior to assembling the outside shell and put it on. Once you do get the shell put together, leave the top off like I have here for the time being, so that you can get an idea of what you can see, what you can't see, and what you may need to touch and what you don't need to. The detail on the kit is good for a sci-fi kit, and this, I will be content with what I can see out of this. When you have the roof on, that's what you're going to see. If you have lighting in here, well, that'll be a different story. But be aware of what you can see, what you can't, and then paint accordingly. I probably could have gotten away without doing those extra details on the pilot seats, but I knew I was not going to put pilots in there, so I'm happier to have done that. It makes me, it's more. Other things about this kit, fitment. The fit is challenging at best. So there's a nice gap here now. For this particular piece, there's a cowling that will go over that gap. So I'm not going to worry. I'll test fit that. We'll see how much of that actually is an issue, and what I need to, I will fill. You can see here, there's gaps there along these lines. You have a gap here that I'm going to want to go back and fill. And this is, I want to look and make sure that's not an intentional panel line too, because if that's an intentional panel line on there, I can avoid having to do that, because it's fairly consistent throughout. This we may want to fill. I'll be covering that. These obviously will need to be filled, I think. Those almost look like they're intentional, but as I look at them, not so much. That I do need to cover and fill. Easy. That's just, put a piece of plastic there. Fitment for this kit is bad. is just bad. I will put a picture here of, yeah, that was the clamping of this shell. To put this whole thing together, and the clamping, and that's only part of it, right? So I had to tape this here, this seam here, that seam there, all of this. I had a bunch of these guys, you know, clipped into here to get this to come down. This didn't really want to fit well. Fortunately, this seam goes away with the wings. This, you know, you can see the kind of gap we're looking at here. It's a little disappointing. You see the seams for these. Those need to be cleaned up. I painted these on the sprue, which is why you see color. These were painted on the sprue, and then I forgot which of these was what side, which is why those didn't go on until now that I can see which one of these go there, because angle's important, right? Because if you get, you know, it would be just like me. I'd put this on this way, and I'd have, you know, both engines having to be like this. So, you know, that's how dumb I can be. There is a lot of seam work here. With that said, it's still, you know, it's a sci-fi kit and it's pretty cool. The work that needs to be done is doable. But this is as far as I've gotten. I did mention in a previous video the side cowlings. So I did use, I had an intake nozzle floating around from an old F14. Let me see if I got one. Yeah, here we go. From an old F14 set. So I just took one of these, chopped it in half. I could just as easily have used green stuff or epoxy sculpt or whatever, and that's what I did back in the back. And that's what you see in there. Is you see this actually is the freeform air, and I used the freeform air because it's lighter and because it's sitting way far back here, and I already know that this kit has weight issues. Had to put weight here, had to put weight in the front part of the wing so that it will sit on its landing gear, because its landing gear is here, right? The back landing gear is almost at the center of the kit, which is sort of silly. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. So that ends up being there. So, you know, you need to make sure that the thing pivots down there. So that need to be light. So I use freeform air. And that will do. That will pass. It will make me content. Makes me happier to see something that looks a little more useful rather than just an empty cowling. Anything else? That is for the most part where I am now. I have some more assembly to do. Once the assembly is mostly done, I'll finish painting up the sub-assemblies here, get them their base coat, then put the whole thing together. Once it's all together, at least in the as together it's going to be stuff, I think what I may do is assemble this whole back part here. I did fill those, by the way. I mentioned this at one point. I did fill those. So I think what I will do is put all of this stuff together. I may leave the engines off, and then here's another one. I'm looking at a fit thing. So if I touch the bottom, and that bottom piece comes in contact with what it's supposed to, that look at that gap. I'm just rocking right there. So I need to find out what's my right angle or my correct angle here, because this is then going to match up to a point on this, right? So yeah. So I think what I may end up doing is having to put that there, then drop this in here to figure out where everything goes, to make sure that goes, because there's also another pipe that goes from here to the hole there. So that's an example of the fit myself. But anyway, put all this together, leave the engines off so I can get in under, because it looks like I can do most of the rest of the work in here with this stuff put together. But with that done, then I can start the shading, and I will do the plan. The plan is to shade the heck out of this, you know, sort of make this one look used and abused. So that's where I'm going with it. This is what the kit looks like so far, and this is what my build has been like. If you are working on this kit or interested in this kit, this is what, you know, what I've been going through. It's a fun kit. I don't want any of my whines to dissuade you from anything. It's, again, it's a unique subject. It's a rare-ish subject. Yes, you can get it from Moebius, but you know, there are only a couple of options for it out there. And you know, if you're a Battlestar Galactica fan and you like the reboot Galactica and you like the subjects, this is a really fun subject. I like it. It's pushed the modeling skills a little bit, but it's not anything insurmountable, clearly. You know, it's all doable if you have some patience and, you know, apply a little bit of effort. Can it be frustrating? Sure. But the opportunity, you know, to flip side, the opportunity to excel with this thing is really kind of there. You know, you know, your engine detail here is kind of meh. But if you want to play around with hyper detailing it and running wires and cables and hoses, you know, you can look here and see, you know, they've got some cables. I assume they're supposed to be cables. You want to hollow those out, maybe, you know, take a drill and hollow those out and make it look like cables rather than, you know, whatever they are. You could do that. So it's a matter of how much you want to. But this is fun. It's a nice kit. It's good. And this is how far I've gotten with it. So I will close down for now. And again, as always, I hope that as I do things, I serve to be more inspirational than anything. And you decide that, hey, I want to do something like that. So go for it. Give it a try. And if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to ask. And hey, show off your stuff. You know, if you're trying it, if you're trying to do one of these and what you've got, feel free to comment below and, you know, let's collaborate. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a fantastic afternoon, and I will talk to you next time.